Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. Lately I have been doing so much in my planner, and it got me thinking that maybe it would be cool to do a little series of planners in a watercolor journal. So, whether you decided to follow my pattern for making this really cool accordion journal that I've been putting together for the granulating watercolor class, right? Because this has 30 pages in it from one sheet of paper. No glue, nothing, just very, very easy to put together. Or um, if you're doing one of my other journal ideas and going the route of actually turning one of these pads into a really cool journal, which I did for the journaling class for beginners, then certainly there is lots and lots of options, right? You're never stuck. I prefer to work on 100% cotton paper, so I always make my journals because otherwise they're like $60 a piece, but that's another story. Anyway, I thought I would do a series of how we could fill those pages with morning meditations, because watercolor to me is just, it's such an amazing thing. It has really changed my life. And anytime that I'm tired, or I wake up in the afternoons, or I mean in the mornings, early in the mornings, especially on the weekends, I try to be doing something mindful, whether it be yoga or something meditative. And even if I need a break from the regular routine, I sit down and I do something in watercolor. But wouldn't it be nice to be able to incorporate like your goals or things that make you happy, or even some gratitude into your watercolor practices, especially in a journal form? So if you like this kind of thing and you're into it, let me know, because I will keep painting these on video and maybe even put together a course moving forward. But in any case, I'm going to do 4 here that I've already outlined. I don't know if you can see the outlines, but I just took a 2H pencil and I did it very, very lightly. You could also use an HB, but I find that the 2H doesn't really like rub off very easily. Like, it doesn't leave graphite on my fingers. And this is the Utrecht drawing pencil. So this is a Czech pencil, but like, you can use so many different companies like Staedtler or anything. There's even water soluble graphite that is amazing too that you can use. So that is what I just kind of outline my ideas in, so that I have a base. And I notice that I do erase a little bit. So it is good to put it in pencil first, and then we're going to paint it. And then after that, or you can do it before, we're going to use this black liner. And I like these ones because they're permanent water-based ink by Molotow. And I will link all of these things up from what I used in the description box. The watercolor paints I'm going to be using are my Roman Schmal set. And as you can see, I have extended my set and ordered so many more amazing colors. I love Roman Schmal still to this day. I mean, I literally swatch these out. Let me get them for you. I have them pinned up here. And this is what now this set is including. So you buy the wood box set and you get these, which is, I kept them together in the top so I wouldn't confuse anybody, because I share this with you guys all the time, especially in my watercolor classes. So this is what comes in the wood box set, which many of you have ordered this month because it went on sale. And then these are the extra ones I've been ordering and trying out, and I love them so much. They're so nice. I want to order more. I actually have some more picked out in my Jackson's box, so that I can just remember that there are some more colors that I don't have that I really am interested in trying. But I can't say enough good things for the price point and compared to everything I have. And I have everything, literally. These are wonderful. So I'm going to be painting off of Roman Schmal today. So I'm just going to pin this up in front of me. And yeah, let's get started. So this watercolor paper that I'm using is 100% watercolor paper. It is 100% cotton, and it is by Fabriano. I've loved this as an alternative for my classes because Arches is very expensive these days. And I managed to get this, which is a block. So it's it's a sealed block, and there's like little openings on the side here where you can put just like a little boning tool or a spatula or anything, and just like loosen it up and get it right out of there. But I love it because you can paint, and then at the end of your painting session you let it dry, and it dries perfectly flat, so you always end up with no buckling, which is great. I love those, so this is 100% cotton. It is a fine grain, but it does have a little bit of a texture, just a bit, which is nice because I can still write on it. And it is 140-pound paper. I love this. I really do. And I'm a big Arches fan. There is nothing really better than Arches. In fact, as a little test, I did this, like Strathmore Canson versus Fabriano, like the regular wood pulp versus the Boang versus the Fabriano, the one I'm working on today, and the Arches. And Arches and the Fabriano were so close. Arches rough had a lot of texture. This one that I have here, the Fabriano, has just enough texture. As you can see, very, very similar results as far as the color, the values, what I'm able to do with the paper, and how it reacts and responds to the watercolor, especially with granulation. So interesting to find out. I do those tests every once in a while. All right, so to start out, I'm just going to establish some of these borders that I penciled in just a little more thickly, so that as I paint, I know where I am. And I measured this out with just very small borders out here on the sides. You could also tape them. If you want to tape up your paper, you can tape. It just depends on how really good you are at painting close to the lines. In fact, I think I have some cool tape that I can use today to kind of like keep us in the lines a little bit better, and it will be a little faster. I don't ever use masking fluid just because I don't really like it. It's not my favorite thing to use. This pen that I'm using is just a fine 0.3. You can use a thicker one if you like. I find that on the rougher paper, you just go a little bit slower in the lines and you get a nicer, more consistent bleed of ink. But I also notice that most of the ones that I've tried, even when they say they're waterproof, they bleed even if you let them dry. This one I can paint on right away, so I keep going back to this company because I've really liked the quality of the liners. See, if I just press a little bit more and I go a little slower, it gives you a really nice dark line, even at this very, very fine point. I don't even know if did I establish guides on the bottom of this? I think I'm just going to do them here. So outlining the little boxes for the pages. Now, of course, I'm not doing this in my watercolor journal just yet, because this is just a kind of a sample, and I just was sitting there on the coffee table and I thought, well, this is kind of neat. I'll just do it as a meditation. And then I thought, well, I'll make a video when I paint it so that you guys can see it. But normally I would do one at a time, and I would probably do it in this like accordion journal, because I think this is really cool and such an easy thing to make, I'm going to be using my Tintorito size 4. As you know, I love these so much. I am addicted to them. I find that I reach for them so often. I have the 6, the 4. I have quite a few of them right now. And I think that I have some more on order, in fact, but they have been my most reached for brushes. So this is the 4 and the 8, and I also have some others coming. Definitely pick these up. I love them. For those of you who want to travel a lot and you're going to be doing this on the road as you travel, they are travel friendly and they fit into anything. Like literally, I can fit them into my Roman Schmal and just lay them in there. I can also fit them into even the little travel palette that I recommend on my channel. But I find that the 4 and the 8 pretty much cover everything. So the 8 is great for washes, but it also has a fine tip. And the 4 can even handle pretty much anything I throw at it, but it's got this really fine tip. So pretty nice, right? Okay, so this is the 3. And then I also have a 5, if, 0.5 millimeter if I want a heavier line. But as I started, I just kind of did this. Now we can go ahead and fill it in with the ink if we want to. So maybe the first one I'll do that way, and then some of the others I'll put the ink on top of the watercolor after it dries. So in this first box, I have 10 things I'm thankful for. So let's take the 3 millimeter, and I'm just going to write 10 things. In my nicer writing. You can do it any way you want to, though. You can even get, I think, stickers, but I prefer to actually have them handwritten, And I also like to put the date on things whenever I can, So when I do fill this in, I find that putting the date on it really just allows me to go back and look, you know what I mean, at what's going on. So this is May, but this is actually something I'm doing for June. So why don't we just put June 1st on this? Because this is like 4 to do with June. So I can put it in the sun. "2023 is where we are." Wonder how many people will watch this video like way after the fact. So we're going to do a sun pattern here, and the rays are actually going to be the things that give us the guides to be thankful for. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the numbers, because I feel like having numbers there is actually encouraging, because you look at them and you're like, mentally having these numbers to me means I'm going to actually think of 10 things. It pushes me and encourages me, inspires me to fill that in. Okay, so let's start painting. That's my fun part. I love that. So I'm going to take my size 8, and this is a beautiful sunshine. So let's go ahead and do just a really sunny Aquarius yellow. I love Aquarius yellow. It's so, so pretty. So we're going to put that in here as our base yellow for our sun. See how nice that ink is? It just didn't wash away. And I can do a little bit thicker in here. Okay, and I want pretty much yellow, but I'm going to do 2 tones. So let's just take a nice wash of the same yellow out here. And I'm just kind of going, just not worrying about painting perfectly, because I want this like really nice, beautiful, just watercolor effect. Taking more of my Aquarius yellow out. I mean, I've got little pencil lines in there, so I don't necessarily have to stay within the lines, but I want a mix of sun rays. So I'd like to see some darker yellows and then another yellow. So I'm going to do this one in a little darker yellow. I didn't even need to tape this because this brush is so easy to use. It actually, that tip really, really helps. So every other one, we're just kind of giving it that nice, bright Aquarius yellow. It's just such a beautiful yellow. It's like this warm, it's like warm and cool at the same time, Okay. And let's see, this one I'm going to finish. If you notice, I didn't even need to re-wet my brush. I just kept dipping it into the paint, because it just, for a synthetic brush, it holds so much water. And this here. So I've got a kind of like light yellow and some really dark yellow coming off of our sun. Then, and if you noticed, I did not worry about painting perfectly because it's watercolor. We just don't want to do it that way. Now, I'm tempted to use nickel azo, but it does have a little bit of granulation, and I find that this will look a little bit better without the granulation. So instead, I'm going to use the gold, the quinacridone gold hue. And that one by Roman Schmal, there's two of them. The one that I have here is the one that is PY 102 and PY 150. So getting it really nice and watered down is the way to do it without having it be like too granulating. And I'm just going to go in and give it a nice little wash on every other. And hopefully we'll see a little difference in the tones. If it's not perfect, I'm not worried. I just want to like have a little variety. But I still want to keep that really light yellow feel. You know, I don't want it to be gold, but I would like to kind of encourage my eye out a little bit on these and have those variations coming out of the sun. I don't even think in doing the, oh, you can't really even see it on the video. I don't even think in doing this, I even need to go back and put the pencil lines in because I can really see the pencil lines, but you can hardly see it on the video, which is strange. So maybe when you do it at home or when I finish here, if I hold it a little closer to the camera, you might be able to see the tones because it's beautiful. I have this bright Aquarius yellow, and then I have this kind of golden yellow coming through, and then I'm mixing some of the golden yellow into the sun as well. So pretty. And you could do orange too, you know, anything. You can just even pick a different subject. It doesn't have to be sun. I just happen to really like the sun theme for this because 10 things that I'm thankful for, you know, this summer. Yep, definitely a sunshine just led the way for me. Okay, so as you can see, there you go. You can see the yellow. So I've got like Aquarius yellow and then some gold yellow. I even think I like having a little strip of the gold down here. Isn't that pretty? And again, you can feel free to go over it as many times as you like as it dries. Now remember, it's wet on wet at this point because I already went over with wet watercolor, so it is going to spread, but I actually like that in the watercolor. I'm not trying to like make it a comic book where it stays in the lines. I don't mind if it spreads into the other one. For the most part, it's not, but I would like to have that kind of like painterly, you know, this little area here where it's just kind of like spreading out. I think it's just great. Okay, so this one I even think I can go a little bit more Aquarius yellow just to brighten it. So I love this Aquarius yellow. It is, I think it's even better than Hansa. Now, if you find that it's dulling some of the ink, then just wait for it to dry and you can go over it again. Or you can actually take a clean brush that is not sopping wet and just peel back a little bit of your watercolor, whatever color you use, right where the ink is. And that's the benefit of having an ink like that. So there we go. So we got our first one, and once it dries, we can go ahead and fill that in. All right, so in the next video, you guys, I'll be painting the next one, which is Summer Goals. So be sure to tune in. I hope you guys are enjoying this and you like this series. If you did, give it a thumbs up and let me know if you have any ideas for pages for our little gratitude watercolor journal that also works on goals and also helps us focus and just has this meditative quality to it, please let me know because I would be excited to paint those as well.